Did you know that a huge part of the world barely needs deodorant? Not because of hygiene, not because of culture, but because of a single genetic mutation. And here's the strangest part. You can often predict whether someone needs deodorant just by looking at their earwax. This mutation spread during the last ice age, reshaped human evolution, and explains why deodorant is a billion-dollar industry in some countries and almost irrelevant in others. Let's start with the weirdest clue. Human earwax comes in two types, wet and sticky, dry and flaky. This isn't random, it's genetic. And in 2006, scientists discovered something shocking. The same gene that determines your earwax type also determines how much body odor you produce. Dry earwax? You likely produce very little underarm odor. Wet earwax? You likely produce the compounds that bacteria turn into smell. Two totally different traits, controlled by the same gene. That gene is called ABCC11. Here's the key thing most people don't know. Sweat itself doesn't smell. Fresh sweat is odorless. The smell happens when skin bacteria break down certain compounds, mainly lipids and proteins, found in apocrine sweat. But not everyone produces the same amount of those compounds. If you carry two copies of a specific ABCC11 variant, your sweat contains far fewer odor-producing precursors. So even if you sweat heavily, there's simply much less for bacteria to work with. The result? Dramatically reduced body odor. Now, here's where this stops being biology trivia. In populations with East Asian ancestry, studies estimate that 80 to 95% of people carry the low odor variant of ABCC11. That means most people naturally don't produce strong underarm odor. In contrast, across much of Europe, Africa, and the Americas, only a small percentage of people carry this variant. Strong body odor is nearly universal. That's why deodorant and antiperspirants generate over $75 billion annually in these regions. Same species, different genetics, completely different industries. So why did this mutation become common in East Asia and almost nowhere else? Genetic evidence traces it back about 40,000 years ago to Northeast Asia during the last ice age. Humans were migrating into brutally cold environments. Survival pressures were extreme. This mutation likely provided real advantages. First, freezing protection. Dry earwax doesn't freeze. Wet earwax can freeze solid in extreme cold, potentially blocking the ear canal and impairing hearing. A serious risk when you rely on sound to detect predators and communicate. Second, odor reduction. In forested, icy terrain, producing less body odor may have made humans harder for predators to track by scent. Small advantages, but in an ice age, small advantages decide who survives. Over generations, natural selection pushed this mutation to high frequency. This wasn't random drift. Evolution actively favored it. Here's the part most people get wrong. If you produce body odor, you're not unclean. You're carrying the ancient human baseline, the same genetics our African ancestors used to survive under the sun. If you naturally produce very little body odor, you're carrying a mutation that spread through one population during the Ice Age survival. Neither is better, neither is worse. They're just different chapters in the same human story. So here's my question for you. Do you need deodorant? And does it match what your ancestry would predict? Check your earwax type, drop it in the comments, and let's map the ABCC11 gene in real time. And if this changed how you think about your own body, subscribe. We decode interesting facts like this every week.